This is Get Sellers Calling You, and I'm Beatty Carmichael. Learn more at our website at getsellerscallingyou.com.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We're so glad you joined us for this next session of Get Sellers Calling You. I'm joined once again with my great friend, Beatty Carmichael. Beatty is the CEO of Master Grabber, the creator of Agent Dominator, and one of the top marketing experts in the real estate field. And if you came with us on the last couple podcasts.
Well, hold on. I hate to interrupt you. You said one of the top marketers. I thought I was the top marketer.
The top marketing expert in real estate. Super excited, Beatty, that we're having part 3 today, if I recall.
Yes. So we've been on a journey of geofarming mastery on this session, and so this should be wrapping it up. We laid a lot of the groundwork, and today we'll knock it over the top. Start to show you some sample postcards, how to wrap it all this together, and then also how to pick the right farm that makes it profitable.
Awesome. Yay. I'm super excited.
I am too. So just also as a reminder for those who are listening in on the audio version of the podcast, the previous versions you could probably do okay without seeing some visuals, but if you get a chance to go to our website, getsellerscallingyou.com, and actually watch the video of this, then you'll actually start to see a lot of things that we're talking about. So you may find that helpful. Also, let me encourage everyone who's watching and listening. We would love to show you what we do. And if you want, I remember a friend of mine, he's a real estate agent, and he trains other realtors across the country. And one of the things that he talks about is if you think hiring a professional is expensive, try hiring an amateur. Okay.
Yeah.
And especially with geofarming, because geofarming is expensive, because what you're doing is you have to use expensive marketing to touch those people.
Yeah.
And you want to put your best foot forward. Okay. So you can visit our website, agentdominator.com. If you want to see what we do. We got some great information, some overview of what's going on with all of our services, and you can request more information. Also, let me encourage you to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. And that way you can stay on top of all kinds of things on how to build your business.
Yes, great.
Okay, so Penny, shall we turn it over to you? Would you like to begin?
No, I think I'll leave the important things to you, and I'll just help commentate. How about that?
Okay, well, that's, that reminds me, leaving the important things. So, my wife and I made an agreement when we got married that I would make all of the major decisions and she would make all of the minor decisions. And after 27 years of marriage, I can say there's been no major decisions I've had to make.
Yeah, I don't think that probably worked out too well, did it?
No, I'm just teasing. She makes a lot of decisions. Okay, so
joint effort, I'm sure.
Yeah, playing off of your comment, and maybe the connection of that joke wasn't all that great. It was playing off of your comment that the important things you'll leave up to me. So.
I gotcha. Yes, perfect.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
And let's just do a real quick review session for those who are just joining in and those who have not seen the previous ones. So what we're talking about is geofarming mastery to dominate a geofarm. And what's interesting is it's not only dominating a geofarm, it's really dominating any list. So that could be your personal list, your expireds list, your neighborhood list, or anything else. So we talked about initially marketing for listings, told the story of Schlitz beer and Claude Hopkins, and going through the details of what causes the beer to be pure. And then he wrote those details in the marketing and started educating people. And once they started to understand why Schlitz was different, then Schlitz went from number 8 to number 1 in less than a year.
Amazing.
And we then tie that into what happens in real estate. in real estate, you have the outside perception versus inside reality. That the homeowners out there typically view you as a realtor as just like everyone else, and
Mm-hmm.
nothing that distinguishes you. And if there's nothing that distinguishes you, then there's no reason to choose you over anyone else. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And then we talked about then your inside reality, and your inside reality is who you are. It's what makes you unique. And it may not necessarily be what makes you unique from all the other good realtors. It's simply what makes you unique in the homeowner's mind, and
Yes.
therefore the term perception. Okay. We talked about then how do you make your inside reality become their outside perception. And there's a formula we call the 3 S's. It's showing off your sales consistently. It's explaining the secrets behind those sales on an ongoing basis, and then having some sort of a unique selling proposition that you can use to make you stand out even more. And when all your marketing includes those 3 things consistently, then it starts to change their perception of who you are to make you become unique in their mindset.
Yes. Yeah.
We then talked also, and this is kind of where we started to end up on our last session, using direct response to identify sellers. And to identify sellers is simply offering information that a seller wants to know before they sell their home, and then having them respond and using stealth technology to identify who actually responded. And that then brings us to today. And so that's the short recap. And now we've got, let me pull my watch out. I feel sort of like that Baptist preacher. You know, anytime you see the preacher take his watch off and stick it on the podium, you know what that means?
He's got a lot of information to cover, and he's got to make sure he stays on task.
Almost. It means absolutely nothing. That's typically the way the preachers are. They take their watch off, you think, good, he's going to be right on time, and he just isn't on time. But I'm not a Baptist preacher, so if you're familiar with the disc profiles, I'm a high C, very regimented, and so we will be on time on this.
Awesome.
Okay, so now what I want to do is, with that really short recap, I want to start to talk about how do you implement these topics of showing off your inside reality, using direct response, using showing off your sales, and showing off your USP. How do you tie it all together into a marketing system? And what I want to show you is what we've actually done with our clients and with our postcards. This is not a postcard only approach. These are concepts that you can use anywhere, whether you're using it on Facebook, or whether you're using it in postcards, or whether you use it in flyers, or even if you're using it in face-to-face kind of interactions. What happens is the delivery method doesn't matter. It's the content, okay? It's the content that's king. So with that, let me walk you through. I'm going to show you kind of how to use this direct response approach first. So direct response, if you recall, is where you offer something that a seller is interested in knowing before they sell their home, and then get them to respond, and then using stealth technology to identify. And I'll walk you through that. So this is one of the postcards. So we tested over a 2-year period. We went through about 2 million postcards.
Wow.
21 split A/B marketing tests where we tested one thing against another to see which one outperforms the other. And then we tested an additional about 37 variations of messages and marketing content to really identify what works. And we narrowed it down to 4 postcards, okay? This is one of those. Now, we've added a few since then as we've gotten better, but this is one of the ones that is very effective. Now, by the way, everything I'm sharing, these are copyrighted by us, okay? And I love what Zig Ziglar. Now, do you remember Zig Ziglar, or was he before your time?
The name is familiar.
Okay.
But I can't remember if he was a musician or if it had something to do with food.
Well, actually, he talked about music. He did talk about food, but he was a motivational sales trainer, is what he was.
Okay.
But I love what he, back in the days of the cassette tapes, okay? And at the beginning of each of his cassette tapes, these tapes are are protected by law and prevented by your integrity to duplicate. So that's kind of the way this copy is, all this stuff is that I'm about to share is copyrighted by us, and it is protected by law and prevented by your integrity to copy. So with that, so imagine right now, Penny, I want you to put yourself in the mind of the homeowner.
Okay.
You and your husband have been thinking about selling your home, okay? And you're probably going to put it on the market in 2 or 3 months maybe, and you get this postcard, okay? So first thing you see is the headline. If you're thinking about selling your home, I may be able to sell it immediately because of special buyers I have. So let me pause and ask you a question. If you got that postcard and you saw that message, does it entice you to want to read more?
Yes.
Okay, so now we've grabbed your attention, and now if you're not thinking about selling, you probably have no real desire to read it, so you'll toss it. So what we're doing is using this, we're identifying the seller, okay? And then you start to read. If you're planning to sell your home in the next 6 months, got to move around because my camera is right in the middle of my block. In the next 6 months, then as a specialist in the area, I often have special buyers who may buy it as soon as you're ready to sell, even before you list it. These immediate buyers often pay full asking price or more because they want a specific home in the area and will do whatever it takes to ensure they get it. My website shares what they're typically looking for. If you are thinking of selling, visit my website immediately to see if your home is a match. If it is, let's talk. Follow the link below to go directly to the correct page on my website. So now, if you got that postcard and you're thinking about selling, are you more likely to go to the website and check it out? See if your home is a match for what these people are looking for? Or are you more likely to throw the postcard away?
Oh, for sure. I'd go to the website.
Okay, so you're going to go to the website, and so this is the first step in identifying sellers. You use information that the seller is wanting to know that a non-seller has no interest in. So that creates what we call self-selection, okay? It separates the crowd immediately. And then you create compelling copy that creates such high compelling curiosity that it forces you to take action. And then you have an action that they take. In this case, we're going to go to the website, okay? Now, what happens on this website is this is where we have our stealth tracker built in. So stealth tracker is a technology we started to develop back in 1997, okay?
Wow.
And we've improved on it since then. And the way it works with postcards is when you go to the website, we're able to pinpoint exactly who you are without filling out a form. Let me show you how that works. So a prospect then is going to go pick up that postcard. They're going to type in that URL. And when they hit that URL, our stealth tracker matches it to the prospect to whom it was mailed. So we have the mailing list with the URLs because every single postcard we mail to every single homeowner uses a different URL. So if we're mailing out 100,000 postcards, we're mailing out 100,000 URLs. So what's happening is our system is looking up that URL, matching it to the mailing address we mailed it to, and now we know instantly exactly who you are. Now your name is actually Melissa Maraha, okay, as opposed to Penny Thomas. But as soon as you go there, then two things happen simultaneously. Number one, the agent that we're mailing for instantly gets an email that a prospect has just visited their website, and it gives your name and information. Simultaneously, you go to the website and you get all the information that it was redressing, okay? So, and what's cool with this is, I don't know if you know this, but let me ask you without reading the content on the screen, okay? Do you know if you send someone to a website and say, fill out this form to get my free information, what percent of people actually fill it out?
My guess is it's going to be really low.
Really low,
Like
yes.
probably 10%.
Yep, somewhere between 5 and 10%, which means for every 20 people that you get to go to that link because they're thinking about selling, if you say, you got to fill out my form to get this information, you're only going to get notified on between 1 and 2 of those.
Wow.
Those other 18 or 19 prospects that you work so hard to get are going to just disappear and you'll never know who they are. And
Mm.
so this is why the stealth tracking technology is so important, because there's no form to fill out. As soon as they go to the website, we instantly know who they are. We
Mm.
instantly notify the client. And so if you get 20 prospects going to the website, you get 20 prospects that you're notified of. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, that's great.
And if I can put a plug in, okay.
Yes, please do.
So this is one of the reasons our clients have been so successful in geographic farming. So here is some interesting statistical anecdotal data. I'm not sure anecdotal statistical doesn't really fit, but bear in mind,
Sounds
okay?
good.
So in typical geographic farming, you're an agent, you're going to start marketing to a farm. The typical person takes 1 to 2 years before they get their very first listing.
Wow.
And they take 2 to 3 to 4 years before they start to get really consistent listings, okay?
Wow.
Put that in perspective, using this technology of Stealth Tracker, just getting people to identify themselves, requesting information, our clients were getting multiple listings within their first 2 months.
Wow. That's
We had a
great.
number of clients earn $75,000 to $100,000 in commissions in their first 12 months
Wow.
of geographic farming. So this starts to break the mold of what's possible,
Sure.
because you're now able to get those people to raise their hand and say, I'm thinking about selling, and now you can be proactive. So now if you're a real estate agent, if you knew who was thinking about selling before anyone else did, do
Hmm.
you think you'd be good enough to actually go and get that listing first?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that breaks down all the barriers. So that's using the direct response. Now let's talk about the other part of marketing, which is the inside reality and making it become their outside perception.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of work that goes in this. Essentially, what we end up doing is we have an interview process. We have professional copywriters, and we kind of compile all this together. But I want to show you the net result so you can kind of see what goes on. So this is the address side of the postcard, and we know that's an address side of the postcard because it has the address right here, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm being funny. You can laugh.
Hmm.
There you go. Okay, great. Thank you. Um, so anyway, on the address side of the postcard, this is the side that everyone always sees. When you go through your mail, you got your stack of mail and you're flipping it over, saying, you're dividing it into A, this is something I need to do, and B, it goes in the trash. Okay.
Hmm.
So this is the side that you want to put your primary message on. And so what we do with this, so Bill Smithson is actually a client of ours. The name isn't, but the content is what we did for our client. And so what we do is we start to show off the reality of who he is and why you should choose him.
Hmm.
So the first thing we show off is how does he compare against the others in the marketplace? So we put this: Bill Smithson's homes sell 18 days faster and get $6,300 more money for a $300,000 home than other agents. Now, this is always tailored to the geographic farm that it's focused on. So in this particular case, where Bill is targeting would be an average sales price of about $300,000. So
Gotcha.
that means when a homeowner is picking this up, they're going, well, that's probably what my home would sell for. And his home sell 18 days faster and $6,300 more money.
Yeah.
Does that impress
Mhm.
you?
Yes. Then I know who I'm going to pick.
That's right. It starts to make you want to pick him over someone else, doesn't it?
Sure.
Okay. So then the next step, so that's showing off that's showing off, kind of showing off sales. It's kind of the first test. It's somewhere down the line in another mix of marketing that's not quite the 3 S's, but it's hitting the target of your inside reality becoming their outside perception. Then there's a USP. Now there's a lot of things that you can do in a USP. I want to show off what Bill does, because it's a really brilliant USP and unique selling proposition. And so it says Bill Smithson pays handymen and painters to prepare your home at no cost to you. Save money on painting, repairs, carpet cleaning, staging, minor updates, and other expenses when preparing your home. So have y'all ever sold a home before, Penny?
We have multiple.
Okay. And have you ever had to fix up the home and prepare it for sale?
Oh, yes.
And when you go through the home, do you start adding up how much all these things are going to cost?
Yes, and it's very depressing.
Yes. So just ballpark on average, what do you think for the homes that you sold, the average repair cost and getting it ready to go on the market was?
Average, I would say $5,000.
Okay. So fair enough, $5,000.
Yeah.
Now you're that homeowner thinking about selling, and you get this postcard, and you see that Bill Smithson is going to pay the handymen and painters to prepare your home at no cost to you. What's the first thing that hits your mind?
How can he afford that?
That's right. You start thinking,
Or,
$5,000, is he going to pay all $5,000, right?
or I'm thinking that's too good to be true.
Okay. Does it create interest and curiosity?
It does, for sure. Yeah.
Now, you're starting to think about selling, and you're planning to sell maybe in 3 months from now, and you're starting to look at the things that you need to update. Are you going to wait until you're ready to actually list your home before you call them, or are you going to call them ahead of time?
Oh, ahead of time.
And why is that?
Because I know how long it takes to get the house ready.
That's right. And you probably don't want to get it all fixed up if he's going to pay to fix it up, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to promote that this USP is really cool because it starts to give you early warning notice. All right. Now, the other thing that happens, and this is what a lot of agents say, well, how in the world can you afford to do that? I can't afford that. Well, I understand. You put limits on what you do. So assume for a moment that I'm Bill Smithson, okay? And you're thinking about selling, so you're going to call me up. My phone rings. I pick it up, and I go, hello, this is Bill.
Hi, Bill. It's Penny. I would love to sell my house. Got your postcard in the mail, and I would love some more information.
What type of information? I'd love to help you sell your home. What type of information are you interested in?
Well, I'm actually really curious about this phrase that you have on your card that says that you will pay handymen and painters to prepare my home at no cost to me. And I just need some more information on that. Are you really willing to pay every expense that I have?
Well, that's a great question. The answer is yes and no. We don't actually pay all the expenses depending on the expenses. But what address are you? Let me just look up at your home real quick.
123 Smith Street.
Okay. Okay. So, oh yeah, you're in the Smith neighborhood over there,
Yeah.
Smith Heights, and your home. Yeah. So what I do is, if a home is listed for 350 or less, which your home would probably be about 300 ballpark, I would guess, just based on other homes in that area, then I pay up to $500 in helping you put that together. And if your home was a lot more expensive, then I'd pay more. So I can't pay for everything, but I pay for enough that really helps give you a jump forward. And a lot of times to start to do some of those little other additional touches that most homeowners don't do. And one of the things that's really been effective for my clients, Penny, is that when we add these little extra touches that just add extra cost, but they make a really big impact, that causes my homes that I'm list to sell a lot faster and get more money, because it grabs a lot more attention up front. And I don't know if you've ever sold a home, but you get the most money right up front. If you can sell it faster, you get more money. The longer it stays on the market, the less you get. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's kind of how we do it. Now I'm going to pull out a role play. Okay.
Okay.
So now what happens is you're on the phone with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a limited amount that I'm going to spend, but what that does is I'm basically buying the opportunity for you to call me first.
Yes. Yeah.
Because now that you're on the phone, $500 is a good amount.
Yeah.
It's not
Sure
5,000,
is.
but you weren't really expecting me to pay all of it. You just had this great big question mark, curiosity. How
Mhm.
much is he going to pay? So you call me, and now I'm on the phone. I know who you are. We're engaging. We're building a relationship. I can offer information to help you get it prepared. I can walk you through, and basically I now win the relationship, and you're going to choose me. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So that's how the USP can be worked out. And that USP starts to reinforce the trust. Why you should use me, okay?
Yeah.
Then let's go into the other side of the card. So this is the message side. And I've got just a lot of little notes showing you off what's going on. But here's what's happening, real interesting. The eyeball goes first to the photo, and then over here to this section we call a subhead. So the photo's important. So on the photo, we put this tag, or this button we call, that reinforces what just happened. Sold for top dollar. Because if you don't get anything else out of that photo, I want you to know that it was sold for top dollar. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
If the more my sales will be sold for top dollar or sold for fast, then it continues to reinforce my key attributes that mine always sell for more money and sell faster. And then I'm going to bring your eye over to the subhead over here, and this is where we're going to reinforce again. Why does Bill Smithson get $6,300 more money for a $300,000 home than other agents? Okay. So now we're going to start to explain some information. We call them the secrets behind it. So every postcard is going to have different content about, in this case, Bill Smithson. So now as you read the content, you're going to go, wow, that makes sense. And every time you read it, you're going to go, wow, that makes sense. And so all that's going to start to shift your perception of me from just another real estate agent to now I'm uniquely special and better. Is this making sense?
Absolutely.
A little bit more of the psychology on the postcard. Okay, so we're going to show off not just that the home sold, but we're going to write a little something about it because social proof is important to create trust. And so that social proof is going to say, like in this case, Bill Smithson did it again. Okay, wow, he did it again. With aggressive marketing, he sold this home in only 5 days for $7,900 over asking price. So now it's more than sold for top dollar. We give you some details about it, and those details are even more impressive than just the fact it sold for top dollar. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
So now I'm persuading you as a homeowner, Bill is really good, okay? And then down at the bottom, we then use some sort of content, usually the USP or something else, to then always drive them back to the website to get more information so we can identify sellers. So that's kind of the organization part of this card.
I will say too, Beatty, that
Yeah.
I noticed the photograph is just stunning. And it actually, and then when I started reading on the left, talking about the presentation, and I think you and I talked about this in our last Zoom call about using professional photographers and making sure that you've got a really good photograph. And that really gets my attention.
Yes.
That's really super helpful.
Yeah, so this whole thing, in fact, let me just read it for those who are just listening as opposed to seeing it. So under the subhead where it says, why does Bill Smithson get $6,300 more money for a $300,000 home than other agents? What we did for Bill is we identified 4 things that he did, and then we articulated it in little tiny encapsulated bullet points. Number 1 is preparation. He pays for handymen and painters to ensure your home is fully prepared to make a great first impression. So as a homeowner, I go, wow, well, that makes sense. Then number 2 is pricing. He knows the limit to push the listing price without exceeding the market. Well, that's what I want. Okay,
Yes.
I want to get at the very top. Number 3 is presentation. 95% of buyers start their search online. He uses professional online marketing that gets the best buyer's attention. Well, that's impressive, and that makes sense, okay? So what's happening is we're educating the consumer on what drives the results, and the consumer is going, well, that makes sense. And then the 4th is promotion. He aggressively markets the home using a proven multi-step strategy that finds more buyers and sells it faster. So all of this starts to bring me down into a funnel that says, this guy knows what he's doing.
Yes. Yep.
And knowing what he's doing creates trust.
Yes.
And if they will trust you, they will choose you. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
So everything we do is focused on that trust. Let me show you another way we do this. So
You're listening to the Get Sellers Calling You podcast. To increase sales from past clients and sphere of influence or from a geographic farm, learn about Agent Dominator. We guarantee your sales in writing or give your money back. To learn more, visit our website at getsellerscallingyou.com and select Agent Dominator from the menu. And now, back to the podcast.
Here's another photo. This is a family photo, okay? So the eyeball goes to the photo, then it goes to the subhead. Notice that the subhead changes. Now we're talking about the USP. Bill Smithson pays handymen and painters to prepare your home at no cost to you, okay? And then the content talks about it, expands on that a little bit more. But the photo is the part I want to show you on this because everything is about trust. And when you get, I'm assuming you've gotten postcards from real estate agents in the past, right?
I have, yes.
Did you ever learn much about the real estate agent as a person?
No.
Okay. When you choose someone, do you want to choose someone that you know as a person or just someone that you've never met before?
Someone that I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the more you feel like you know them, the more likely you're going to feel you can trust them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I was talking to one of our clients. His name was Zach, and he's been doing geographic farming with us for a while. And he, on this call, he asked, "Hey, Beatty, the card that we mailed out back in January, so this is like probably October, maybe, of the year. The card that we mailed in January, can we mail that again?" I said, "Well, probably could, but why?" He said, "Well, it produced half of all the listings I've gotten in the farm this year."
Wow.
Now, keep in mind, when do you think most listings come on the market? In January or in spring and summer?
Spring and summer for
Yeah.
sure.
So this is a postcard from January
Wow.
generating half the listings for the entire farm that entire year.
Wow. That's impressive.
And I asked him a question. Well, which card was that? And he said, "It's the one with my family photo." So I dug up that postcard and I looked at all of his postcards. I want to see what did we say about him on that postcard that was so effective it generated half of all the listings. And do you know what the postcard said about him?
Probably just a couple of things about whatever the picture was, maybe.
Well, I wasn't sure. So I read the postcard and it was a bunch of mumbo jumbo. It said absolutely nothing. But there was this one last sentence that said, "And this is a picture of my wife and children, and we live in this area." Okay. And what dawned on me is the photo is what sold the people, because you're getting these postcards normally from real estate agents, and they're all very kind of professional. It's just the real estate agent, "I made the sale," or something
Yeah.
like that. But you know nothing about their family. When you see this photo of this family, does this start to bring maybe trust to that looks like a really exceedingly handsome guy and and a gorgeous family, so he must be trustworthy. You ever
Yes.
thought about that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you see the kids, you see the wife, or you see the husband, depending on who the agent is, and it starts to endear you because now you get to see a little bit of their personal life.
Yeah.
And that's what this is doing, because there's a book out there called Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and it separates two types of leads. It says out of all of the surveys they did with thousands of agents, they narrowed the lead source into two types: those that you've met and those that you've never met. Which one of those lead types do you think produced the most money?
Those that you've met.
That's right, those that you met. Would you like to guess by what percent increase over those that you haven't met?
I think it's greater than 50.
Greater than 50%.
That's my guess.
That's a pretty, you're in the right direction.
Okay.
800 to 1,000% more results from those people who've met you. That's 8 to 10 times higher results than those who haven't met you. It's mind-boggling, isn't it?
Yeah, that really is.
And so what's going on is this: once they've met you, they start to trust you. And that's the biggest hurdle to overcoming, getting people to do business with you. So what these postcards do, I'm looking at my clock. I thought we were going to finish on session 3, but I think it might be session 4. But what happens is once they've met you, they trust you. And what the photograph does is it gives them a chance to meet you vicariously through that postcard and
Mm-hmm.
start to warm up that you're a real person. You have a real family, and if you got a family and they look as cute as that photo, all of family photos always look cute. Okay, it just shows you in a natural habitat, and instantly now you become a real person, not just this professional real estate agent. It
Yeah.
makes you real. Does that make sense what I'm talking about?
It totally does. I mean, like the first thing I thought of when I saw this was almost, it just reminded me of like getting a Christmas card.
Yes.
You get a Christmas card and you're so excited because you get to see a family picture of someone that you know that maybe you haven't seen in a while. And it just makes it feel more personal.
That's it. I remember, so we started now California. Uh, so we'll talk about, it may be the next session. We'll talk about how long does it take to really produce results. And the greatest answer is it depends, okay?
Mm.
Um, not the underwear, but it depends on what's going on. Sorry, my humor is dry. Um, it depends on primarily, believe it or not, depends on where in the United States you are and kind of what's going on. But one of the things that we find is as you go west, like into um, uh, Arizona, New Mexico, California, or Colorado, Utah, Oregon, Washington, that section of the country, then it takes a lot more effort to start to have results in geographic farming. And the biggest reason is trust.
Hmm.
And I remember getting a phone call. So, and I say that because we have a client that was just starting to do geographic farming out in California. And the first card we sent out was a picture of his family. And then the second card and the third card. He gets a phone call on the third card from a lady he's going to be selling her home, and it's a good price home. And she said, I got your first postcard with your family photo. And I said, anyone with a family like that has got to be trustworthy. But I waited till this last card because now I'm ready to really start to do something. So it was the first card, 3 postcards earlier, that
Hmm.
won her trust,
Wow.
and then she actually responded to a later postcard. Isn't that cool?
That's interesting. Yeah, that is.
So what we do is in bringing the inside reality to the outside perception and in developing this trust is intersperse personal content. Now, sometimes I talk to agents and they don't want to promote anything personally. I
Hmm.
say, well, do you have a Facebook page? Right? Is
Hmm.
that not promoting things? Do you show pictures of your family and your kids?
That's right.
What's the difference? If
Yeah.
you're showing it to the public, into the World Wide Web, why not show it into the farm where you're
Yeah.
trying to build trust?
Yeah. That's so true.
Um, okay, so then another way that you can, by the way, you may be noticing these headings, the header part changes colors, and it does that because uh, we can modify it to your branding color. I'm just kind of pointing that out.
Gotcha.
So one of the other things that we do is in taking your inside reality and making it their outside perception is start to quantify more specifically exactly what's going on. Why should someone choose you over someone else? And there are only 3 reasons that a homeowner will choose an agent over someone else. And ideally, all 3 is what they want. Can you sell my home for more money
Yeah.
and less time
Yep.
with less hassle? Okay.
That's
If you can satisfy those 3, I
right.
don't care if their brother is a real estate agent. If you're going to get them a lot more than their brother can, they'll most likely choose you. Okay.
That's right. Yep.
Um, so one of the things that we do is through this process is we then quantify, and I want to show this to you so you can see kind of how to do this. We quantify the agent's inside reality against the market's inside reality.
Mm.
Because what happens is most homeowners believe that everyone's the same, that it doesn't make any difference. But once you can quantify,
Yeah.
verify, and specify, that there is a difference, then you can start to change their perception.
Mm-hmm.
And they always buy on perception first.
That's
So if you can make their perception that you are better, then they're going to choose you. So why choose Bill Smithson? Because his homes get more money and
right.
sell faster. That's what they want.
Yep.
Okay. So then we say for an average sold price for a home listed at $300,000, the market average sales price is $291,000. Bill Smithson's average sales price is $297,000, which is $6,300 more. And for those who are listening and not just watching, I'm leaving off the $100 marks just to simplify. So now we're quantifying what Bill actually gets for the same home listed at $300,000 versus the market. That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And it really helps just sort of pinpoint and narrow down what makes him different.
Yes, it really does. It starts to say there is a difference between the agents,
Yeah.
and Bill is a safe bet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second thing we do is we look at average days on market. So for that home listed at $300,000, the average days on market for the market average is 43 days.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Smithson's average is 25 days, 18 days faster sale. So now we're proving the statement that all agents say, I can get more money in less time. But now we're taking statistical data and actually backing it up. The same thing that Claude Hopkins did with Schlitz beer. He took the very specific information and backed up the claim that their beer was more pure than others.
Mm-hmm.
So we go through and we back up the claim that our agent gets more money.
And he wrote about it.
That's,
Claude wrote about it.
that's right. He
Yep.
wrote about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's an educational piece. And so then we write a little bit more about it. This is what we did for Bill. So, and for those who are just listening, this is now the bottom of the postcard. It says, why choose Bill Smithson? And notice that we're reinforcing. By the way, how many times does it say Bill Smithson on this webpage, on this postcard?
Oh my gosh.
Bill
5.
Smithson by the name. Headline, Bill Smithson. Why choose Bill Smithson?
Yeah.
Bill Smithson. Bill Smithson. Okay,
Yeah.
Bill. All right. So the other thing we're doing is we're making sure that the name is always remembered. It's all these little things
Mm-hmm.
that grab the psychology of what causes a homeowner to choose one agent over another. Did I do the, I think I did the experiment with you on toothpaste brands, right?
Yes, you
Okay.
did.
So toothpaste brands is all about remembering a brand over another.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we do to make sure our client's brand is remembered is we're quantifying why to remember them. We're showing off your sales, explaining the secrets, and all these other things. But the other thing is we're using your name everywhere. In fact, if we went back to the address side of the postcard, watch this. Bill Smithson, Bill Smithson, Bill Smithson, Bill Smithson, Bill Smithson. Okay? So there's a secret. It's all over the place.
And you know, Beatty, can I interrupt and just say that I think that that is so important for the agent, because I used to be a teacher, and one of when I was learning to teach, one of my English professors taught us that the key to memorizing something is to repeat it 3 times. 3 times, just keep saying, it's like the power of 3.
Yep.
And ever since then, if I need to memorize anything, I just read it or write it 3 times in a row, and it commits it to memory. So the fact that his name is on here multiple times, even if I didn't know this person, if I was thinking about real estate, he's probably the first person that would pop in my mind because I saw his name over and over and over again.
You know, that's brilliant. You're absolutely right. And, you know, the more times you can have your signage out there, they keep seeing your name.
Yes.
So that's part of the psychology behind this. I just want to bring that out.
Yeah.
So, but let me show you this last thing. So the other thing in this repetition, I think you hit the nail on the head. We repeat the same message over and over again on each marketing piece, but we repeat it differently on each one. Because the more times you consistently hear more money in less time, 18 days faster, $6,300 more, then the more it kind of sinks in and you get it. Okay.
Yeah.
So this whole paragraph at the bottom, Why choose Bill Smithson? Because his homes sell 18 days faster and get $6,300 more money for a $300,000 home than homes sold by the average agent. Repeating what we just said up above. One reason is he maintains a list of over 97 buyers who want to purchase a home right now. As soon as he lists a home, he has buyers who want it and will pay top dollar. So we're going to introduce another piece of information into the process. Okay. Learn more on his website below, and then we drive them back to the website.
You know, as a homeowner, if I'm going to be selling my home, reading something about the agent and how many buyers they have is going to really make me interested, because when you need to sell your home, you need to sell your home and you need to sell it quickly. So knowing that he already has a list of people ready to buy is going to make me be like, okay, I need to call Bill.
Yes, exactly. And so there's a lot of things that we found and have uncovered over time that are those keys that the homeowner is motivated on. And so through the interview process with our clients, we go through and try to identify those key points. We then wrap it into the copywriting and make sure that those are highlighted. So now let me just ask you a question. So this is self-grandizement on this one.
Okay.
Just so you know. The typical agent goes out there and just puts together a postcard. And then we get a client and we put together their postcards for them. Which postcards do you think are going to produce more results?
Ours.
Yeah. So back to the statement, if you think hiring a professional is expensive, try hiring an amateur. Here's the thing that, think about this. One sale more covers all of the cost for a long time to do it right the first time.
That's right.
And so anyway, that was just my self-aggrandizement. Okay, so that is marketing for listings. Now, I'm looking at the clock, and unlike the preacher, I don't have time to finish everything else. So let me share what we're going to go through the next session, okay? The next session, we're going to go through and talk about, now that we know how to market in a geographic farm for listings, how do you actually pick the right geographic farm? Because I think, as we mentioned last time, just like stocks, some are winners and some are losers, okay? The same thing happens with geographic farming. And you can't just say, hey, I'll pick that farm over there because that's where I live, and expect it to produce. There's actually a formula. There's a primary formula that we uncovered that pinpoints with laser accuracy the exact farm you need to be going after economically, okay? And then there's another set of, I think it's three, another set of 3 additional items that you can do to then take those that are most profitable and figure out which one you will actually perform best in. So all of this is a science. And we're going to show you that on the next session. And we're going to also show you some other things and set some expectations on what I call geo-farming fundamentals. And if we have time, I think next session will go fast enough because it's more just saying, here's what you do. So we'll be able to wrap up that and also talk about expires. So before we have just a couple minutes before we wrap this call up, not enough time to get into the next, but any questions, any comments, anything that's rambling through your head that you'd like to probably clarify?
Actually, nothing that I need clarification on, but I will put in a plug for those who are listening. I absolutely feel like, and I'm just speaking from a consumer standpoint, what you've put together, Beatty, and your company, I don't see how it could not work. So my plug is for people that are listening, that are agents that really need to ramp up their marketing, to give you a call. Go to the website, check it out, and see if they can really increase, I know they can, their sales.
Well, I would wholeheartedly promote that plug as well.
Yes. But I'm just saying from a consumer standpoint, but just seeing the things that you've produced and put together for agents, I would absolutely call Bill Smithson before anybody else. He would
Well,
be the
good.
one, he would get my call for sure.
Hey, let me tell you a story on that
Okay.
as we start to wrap up. I want to tell you two stories, can I? Because this is
Yeah.
really amazing. Um, so we had a client that was just doing mailings into a farm. I think it was 1,000 or 1,200 homes, and for an entire year, no results. He
Wow.
calls me up and he says, Beatty, can you help? And I said, yeah, I
Mhm.
think I can. At
Yeah.
that time, we were just starting to, this was at the very beginning of working out this 3 S's formula and creating postcards to do that. So we started to implement that with him. Keep in mind, the first 12 months in that farm, nothing. Okay.
Wow.
Now, he did have a leg up because they at least had been seeing him throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
So we started to change the content on his postcards. And the first 3 months that we did that, he picked up, I think, like maybe 2 or 3 listings. And
Wow.
then the next 3 months, he picked up about another 4 listings. But by the 7th month, I think it was, of doing this, he was getting 2 come list me now phone calls every week saying,
Wow.
hey, Josh, the calls came out like this. So half of them were saying, hey, Josh, I've been getting your postcards. I'm thinking about selling. Can you come talk to me about selling my house? The other ones were saying, Josh, uh, I've been getting your postcards. My home is listed. It's not selling. As soon as my contract expires, will you come sell my house? Isn't that
Mm.
cool?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so it totally turned his business around. And I, let's test your guesstimating skills one more time.
Okay.
When you do geographic farming, which is the most expensive because it's you're you're print you're paying for printing and postage, and there's a lot more time than
Mm-hmm.
just throwing a PPC ad, pay-per-click ad or something up online. So the return on investment with geographic farming is usually kind of low. The key is it is steady and you can
Yeah.
make money at it, and the longer you're with it, the higher the ROI goes. But would you like to guess after that first year that we were doing business with them, what his ROI in geographic farming was with us as a
Oh,
return on investment?
God. Hmm. Well, my guess would be I know he made all of his money back. So whatever he spent on
So all of his money back would be a 1-to-1.
okay,
Okay.
so then I'm gonna go ooh, at least double that. At
So a
least
two
that.
to one, at least a 2-to-1, which would
Yeah,
be good.
I'm gonna go 3 to 1. I'm gonna go
At
3 to
least 3-to-1, which means for every $1,000 he spent, he earned $3,000 in commissions.
yeah, I'm gonna go at least 3 to 1.
Yeah, well, you're right, at least.
It was okay. I thought
But
you
it
were gonna say
wasn't three
it
to
was more.
one.
Okay, it was more?
It was more.
How much more?
16-to-1.
Wow.
$16,000 in commissions earned for every $1,000 invested
That's
in
amazing.
geographic farming
Wow.
with an average sales price of about $200,000.
My goodness.
Yeah, it just out of the world results when you do it right.
Hmm.
And they started to believe in Josh that he could sell anything. And so he started to clobber the community and
I was
just
gonna say
totally
that.
dominate it.
Yeah, dominating that market for sure. And then just I'm just thinking like all the referrals that he would get in the future and just, the constant name dropping from
Yep.
dominating that market. That's great.
Let me tell you one other quick story and then we'll
Okay.
wrap up, because in the story is teaching, and that's what I want you to get. I'm not telling you the story simply to just kind of promote what we do, but to promote, number one, that it works, but also there's elements of things that you or the agents that are listening to us can then pull out of the story and go apply. So a tale of 2 farms in Los Angeles, just outside of Los Angeles, California. Um, actually, can't do it, sorry. That was my timer saying we got to wrap up because I got to get to another call. So I will have to tell the second story another time.
Okay, so I'm going to write that down. Something about Los Angeles. Is
That's
that what?
right.
Okay.
Los Angeles, and 22% market share of a 1,500 home farm, outselling the number 2 agent by 7 times, going from a nobody to the number 1 agent in record time, rocket ship time.
Wow.
And by the time the average agent is just starting to get a pattern of getting decent sales out of a farm, this guy was already controlling 50% of, that's half of all of the listings in that farm.
Wow.
This stuff will just rocket you through. So we'll cover some of that. Remind me on the next call. Let's wrap up. Let me just remind everyone, if you do have interest in hiring a professional instead of doing it as an amateur, please go to agentdominator.com. And you'll see our information about geofarming. You can learn more, request information. Please also subscribe to our podcast, because otherwise you'll miss out on some great stuff that we constantly put out on how to grow your business. Anything else from you, Penny?
No, just thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to all of our viewers and listeners. We're excited to be joining you from the comfort of our own homes and enjoying a cup of tea and just chatting all things real estate. So it's great. And just encourage everyone to spread the word for sure.
Yeah. And you mentioned from our own homes. You know, I'm calling from our office.
That's right.
That's right. So
I got kids at home, social distancing for the summer. So
yeah. Well, this is where
but you're
I work.
in your office.
Yeah, the home office.
That's right.
All right. Well, y'all have a blessed day.
Yes.
Hope this has been helpful, and we'll see you later.
That's right. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, be sure to subscribe to it so you never miss another episode, and please like our Get Sellers Calling You Facebook page. Also, if you want to increase sales from past clients and sphere of influence, dominate a geographic farm, or convert home valuation leads, check out our Agent Dominator program. We create custom content that differentiates you from other realtors, then use it to keep you top of mind with your prospects with postcards, targeted Facebook ads, email campaigns, video interviews, and more. And the best part is we guarantee your sales or give all your money back. Learn more at GetSellersCallingYou.com and select Agent Dominator in the menu. Thanks for listening to the Get Sellers Calling You podcast. Have a great day.